So the Philadelphia 76ers play a throwaway game against the Detroit Pistons without Joel Embiid. Does our number 2 transcendent star step up to the plate and lead the team to victory? It's becoming so damn predictable at this point. This episode of Run It Back Philly is brought to you by the Teespring Store. Click the link in the description. Get all the Run It Back merch. Use the code RUNMY20 for 20% off. And buymeacoffee.com/runitback. I give you sports talk. You give me coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/runitback. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're brand new. It's a little red button right under the video. Go ahead and do that for me. I give you these podcast episodes every single day for free. All I want is a subscription. And let's get as many likes as we can on the video. 5 seconds to hit the like button. Running Back Nation, do your thing. And hit the dislike button if you're a fraud. First of all, today is 1 year since the passing of Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I remember where I was. I'm sure everybody remembers where they were when they got the news of that happening. It was a horrendous day for sports fans in general, for basketball fans who grew up watching the game, watching the NBA, watching Kobe Bryant play basketball, the love that he had for the game, the passion that he had for the game. And even after he retired, everything he was still doing for the game was just second to none. There will never be a human being quite like Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. That's all I got to say. So last night I tweeted and I said, reply to this in GIF form of what Kobe Bryant would say to Ben Simmons at practice. And if you want to see those replies, go right over to my Twitter at IamDJEastwood. Mamba mentality, Ben Simmons, you could have done a better job of honoring Mamba mentality yesterday. You could have just been like, you know what, it's almost 1 year since Kobe's passing. I'm going to come out here in this game without Joel Embiid, and I'm going to have a Mamba mentality. And I'm going to go hard, and I'm going to take the ball to the bucket, and I'm going to get buckets, and I'm going to score points, and I'm going to lead my team to victory. I knew it wouldn't happen. You guys knew it wouldn't happen. Here's the thing. I'm not angry anymore about the Ben Simmons thing. I don't scream and yell anymore. It's not. My veins aren't popping out of my head anymore. I expect it at this point. So at least I'm at that level. At least I'm at a level where I expect Ben Simmons to come out here and score 11 points against the Detroit Pistons in a loss. I expect that now. He's not a team leader. He never will be. He is a $170 million glue guy. A $170 million role player. A $170 million 6'10 Draymond Green. And again, that player is valuable to have on your team. But he wasn't supposed to be that. He was supposed to be a transcendent superstar, and he's just not one, and it's because he doesn't have it. He doesn't have the heart. He doesn't have the fight. Ben Simmons shot a 3 last night, and it was atrocious. It was almost an air ball, and he airballed one before, and the articles that came out that said, don't believe the hype, don't believe the Instagram videos, don't believe all that stuff. Ben Simmons does not work on his game. He hangs out in LA all summer. He doesn't work on his game. That article's looking more and more true every day. Ben Simmons comes out here with the same skill set that he had when he was a rookie, if not worse, and just does the same thing. He's perfectly content with being this kind of player. He has no drive, no motivation, no fire to be better than this. And we got to accept it. And I know I say that every video, and then I come up here and scream again, but it's hard to accept something like that. I grew up watching this guy. 5'10", soaking wet, 150 pounds. Out here. Taking the ball hard to the rack against NBA centers, getting beat. Getting put on his ass. Getting right back up. Going at it again. Leading a team full of nobodies to the NBA Finals. That's who I grew up watching. That's why it's so hard for me to accept this player who is paid this amount of money to come out and play like this consistently. That's why it's hard for me to accept. That's my Ben Simmons rant. I was going to skip over this game in general. Joel Embiid wasn't playing. Back tightness, but really they're just resting it because we're playing the Lakers tomorrow, and that's the true test. The Lakers at full strength versus the Sixers at full strength. And the Sixers know that. Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey and these guys know that. We know that. It's probably a nationally televised game, so they know that. Like, are we going to play Joel Embiid against the Detroit Pistons again in what is probably, in the grand scheme of things, a meaningless game? Or are we going to rest him, call it back tightness, and make sure he's 100% healthy to go up against the Lakers? And I know that's what they did, but I think Daryl Morey really wants to see that, because Daryl Morey really wants to see what he has in this team. This game is going to tell all there is to need to know. This game is going to tell us all we need to know about this team. And if they can't compete with this Lakers team with a fully healthy roster, and if Ben Simmons comes out here and has a 9-point single-double, triple-single, then Daryl Morey's going to be on his way to the trade room. He's going to be on his way to picking up the phone. This is the true test of how good this team actually is against the Lakers. So, of course, they rest Joel Embiid against the Pistons because nobody gives a damn about this game. Yet I had to listen to the Pistons announcers again. They don't give a damn about this game. But I guess we'll talk about it because there is things to talk about. So it's their fourth game in 6 nights. So they looked tired. They looked flat. They came out with no energy. Detroit was up 17-4 at one point. Like, I felt like right when I turned on the game, Detroit was up 17-4. They were tired. They weren't playing any defense. There was wide open shots all over the floor. I know Jeremy Grant didn't used to be a shooter, but you got to guard him now. He's a little bit better than he used to be. We're just standing there, going behind screens, watching him. Go ahead, bro, shoot it. Go ahead, just shoot it. Like, just letting everybody shoot the ball. Blake Griffin wide open. DeLon Wright wide open. I mean, just no real defense going on here at all. Jeremy Grant finishes with 25. DeLon Wright finishes with 28. It is what it is. It was a game that they looked like they weren't ready to play, and honestly, I don't think they gave a damn about it. I think after playing 3 games in 4 nights, they came out, and I don't want to say a coaching staff would say this to a team, but you want to be 100% healthy and ready to go against this Lakers team on Wednesday, and it looked to me like the Sixers just took this night off. They did. And Ben Simmons especially. What an asshole. Aggressive Ben Simmons. What did I say the other day? Aggressive, big, fast passer guy who sometimes scores points. Lasted 5 quarters. It lasted the 4th quarter of the Celtics game. It lasted the last game against the Detroit Pistons. And that was it. We're back to big, fast passer guy getting paid $170 million to dribble the ball up the floor and hand it off. Seriously, in crunch time, he dribbles the ball up the floor and hands it off. That's what he does. That's it. I don't get it. I don't get it. So what's the difference between the last game against the Detroit Pistons and this game against the Detroit Pistons? Well, the one big difference is Blake Griffin. And Blake Griffin guarded Ben Simmons. And Blake Griffin guarded Ben Simmons the way that smart players guard Ben Simmons. 20 feet away, standing in the paint, daring him to shoot the ball. And when they do that, he can't do anything. The Memphis Grizzlies did it. The Miami Heat did it. Listen, bro, the jig is up. Cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows how to guard you now. You can't play point guard if they're going to guard you like that. You just can't. And you can't play power forward if you're not going to stretch the floor because you can't shoot. And you can't play center because we have the best center in the game. So the time is here. The time is here. $170 million glue guy. The time is here. It's time to get a different fit around Joel Embiid. It really is. I'm sick of this crap, man. I'm sick of it. So I know you're going to tell me Ben Simmons was in foul trouble. Ticky-tack fouls early in the game. Listen, he had 3 fouls at halftime. 3. And he had 4 points. He had 4 points at halftime. Don't give me the foul trouble BS. And some of them were bad fouls. Jumping on a Blake Griffin pump fake? Come on, Ben. At least I know you're a smart defender. I don't have much to say about this game. So basically, with Joel Embiid out and Ben Simmons being a total non-factor, we needed buckets. And we need buckets from who? We need buckets from Seth Curry. We need buckets from Shake Milton. We need buckets from Tyrese Maxey. We need buckets from Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris did his thing. 25 points. Gave us what he gives us. No complaints there. That's why, that's still not a max contract player. Tobias Harris is still a nice player to have. He's not even really an all-star level player, but Tobias Harris did what we know Tobias Harris can do. He's the only guy that showed up. 25 points. Ben Simmons finished the game with 11 points. The more telling part is he finished the game with what? He finished the game with 4 rebounds. Ben Simmons finished the game with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. That's the more telling part. What are rebounds? Rebounds are effort. Ben Simmons is 6'10", faster than everybody in the NBA. He could finish the game with 4 rebounds with his eyes closed. He can get 4 rebounds in the first quarter. Ben Simmons was not trying in this game. Seth Curry and Shake Milton were colder than the weather right now, and it was just hailing a minute ago. Yeah, they were just ice cold. It is what it is. It's one of those games. The Detroit Pistons couldn't miss a shot. The Sixers couldn't make a shot. Seth Curry and Shake Milton combined 5 for 20 and 1 for 7 from 3. Furkan Korkmaz was 1 for 4 from 3. That's a combination of 2 for 11 from 3 of our 3-point shooters that we rely on to hit shots. Like I always say, when you're not hitting the 3, when you're not shooting the 3 at 60%, what else do you got? I know Ben Simmons leads the league in 3-pointers assisted. He doesn't have to score because he passes the ball to all his 3-point shooters all the time. He doesn't have to score. He doesn't have to score. In games like this, he has to score. In games like this, your number 2 max contract star has to score. No more cop-outs. No more excuses here. This is pathetic. This guy's out here in his 5th NBA season putting up Elfrid Payton numbers. Give me a fucking break. Tyrese Maxey puts in 17 points off the bench. And that's that. The game is over. Totally worthless, pathetic game against the Detroit Pistons that I don't care about, you shouldn't care about, nobody should care about. But it does tell you everything you need to know about Ben Simmons. He needs Joel Embiid on the floor. The whole team needs Joel Embiid on the floor. This game, more than any other game, tells me that Joel Embiid is the MVP. Joel Embiid is the most valuable player. This team cannot even compete with the worst team in the NBA. The Cavs, the Grizzlies, the Pistons, they can't compete with the worst teams in the NBA when Joel Embiid's not on the floor. If that's not the MVP, I don't know what is. So what does it tell me? You need Joel Embiid. And like I said, they're going to start resting him in the middle of the season. They're going to rest him towards the end of the season. Because if you don't have Joel Embiid in the playoffs, if Joel Embiid's tired when the playoffs start, or if Joel Embiid gets an injury in the playoffs, God, knock on wood. I hope that's real wood. I know this is. If Joel Embiid isn't healthy for the playoffs, you're done. You're absolutely done. So the goal here is to get to the playoffs with a 100% Joel Embiid, and if he stays healthy and gets you, and he's healthy every game, playing at the level he's playing at, this team can go to the NBA Finals. But without Joel Embiid, this team cannot even compete with the Detroit Pistons. It is pathetic. And people like to remind me that the Sixers got swept in the first round last year without Ben Simmons. Oh, yeah? Ben Simmons isn't valuable? Well, then why'd they get swept in the first round against the Celtics last year without Ben Simmons? If Joel Embiid's so good and so valuable, why did they get swept in the first round without Ben Simmons? Well, I mean, I was watching that. I don't know if you were watching that. I was watching that whole season. That team stood no chance. That team playing with two centers, taking Joel Embiid out of his comfort zone, minimizing the space in the paint. Combine that with Brett Brown's decision-making, not having any ball-handling guards on the floor whatsoever. I mean, you were playing with two centers in the paint and Raul Neto. All right? That's why they got swept in the first round. If Ben Simmons played in that series, they might have won one game. Maybe two. That's not the game changer. Joel Embiid is the game changer. And again, when Ben plays like this, I get back towards the trade bandwagon. I get back towards the bandwagon where I say, you know what, it's time to put elite players around Joel Embiid and forget about this Ben Simmons experiment. But when Joel Embiid plays and he has some of the defensive attention, and then Ben Simmons has a little bit more freedom to do things and finishes a game with a 20-point triple-double, then I say, okay, all right. That's not a max contract player. That's not a transcendent superstar, but that's like good enough, I guess. So, yeah. It's two different sides with the Ben Simmons saga, but what ultimately decides it is whether or not Joel Embiid is on the floor, because when the defensive attention is all on Ben Simmons, he folds. That's all I got to say, man. Thank you guys for listening. My name is DJ Eastwood. This is Run It Back Philly. Please hit the subscribe button if you're brand new. Hit the like button on the video. Hit the dislike button if you're a fraud. You guys have a great day. Peace.